Hello and welcome back to When I Knew You. We will be continuing where we left off, which, if you recall, is after there was a little small revelation of some origami being left for Cal and the little sister. I forget her name. Um, but yeah. So this signals that the missing person that they've all been stressing over is apparently still there, or at least somebody is pretending to be them or something, which puts a wrench in Marcus's plan of being able to be with Callum, because all of a sudden, the guy that was technically your only obstacle in this relationship is back. And obviously they're back at a very inopportune time when you and this other person that you want to be with basically sort of agree to go out with each other. But yeah. Anywho, it has been a while since I recorded When I Knew You, because I had to record all the other visual novels that updated, and you probably won't be seeing this until January. So yeah, it's a while. Anyway, so I'm excited to get back to When I Knew You. Anywho, so yeah, I guess there really isn't anything else that happened. I mean, obviously Callum, Marcus, Callum finding the little origami. I hesitate to call it a rose because I forget what it was, but like, yeah, it's what they're holding right there in this image right here. But yeah, if I recall correctly, this is where we're going to be enlisting the help of some unlikely people to try to get to the bottom of this. But yeah, anywho, so without further ado, let us continue When I Knew You. Do you like it? It's so pretty. How do you make them? Well, I could show you, or I could just make you anything you want. Seriously? Of course, giving you stuff makes me happy too, you know. I'm really happy to get stuff from you too. Love you, Callie. Cal? I jolt awake, my senses returning to me as I blink the tiredness from my eyes, staring at the red light above us. You okay? He shoots me an uneasy glance, trying to focus on both me and the road at the same time, reaching over to rub a comforting hand on my thigh. I rub my eyes with the palm of my hands, splotches of white popping in and out of my vision. I'm fine. I didn't expect to doze off like that. My bad. You're good. You look kinda tired, though. I give my cheeks a couple of firm slaps to wake me up, shaking the drowsiness off of my head. Maybe a little, but that's nothing new. Do you want to rest instead? I mean, I don't really mind hanging with you some other day. What? No. I'm fine, Marcus, really. We're hanging out today, if that's the last thing that I do. You're not getting rid of me that easy. He laughs and shakes his head defensively. Trust me, I want you in my room just as much as you want to see it. Then that's exactly where I'm going. If you're sure. Of course I am. It had been 5 days since we've officially been together, and we haven't had a moment alone since. It's always club activities or errands to run or people getting in the way. Granted, we had yesterday free, but I had to make an excuse. I had to go see him. So today, the start of the weekend, where we've got nothing going on, is the perfect time to be alone. After all, we've got the whole day to ourselves. Your neighbors aren't, snitchy, are they? They can be. But it wouldn't be the first time that I've snuck someone in the house, so I'm sure that they don't really care at this point. I eye him questioningly, and he jumps to clarify himself. Guys from the team. Mostly. Mostly? Anyways, it's best we get in quick. Come on. He quickly unlocks the front door and holds it open for me, smiling sweetly. After you, my love. You're so lucky you talk nice. Happy to hear you fall for more than just my good looks. Alright, simmer down, pal. Don't want to inflate your ego more than it already is. Pal? Fine, simmer down there, my love. That's better. Whoa. The vague memory that I had of the inside of Marcus's house must have been wrong, because somehow I don't remember it being this big. It seems straight out of a cheesy slice of life movie. Upper class suburban living. Nice. Well, I don't know about upper class, but it is pretty nice, I guess. Or so I've been told. But you didn't come here to admire the architecture of my house, did you? I'm more interested in the interior design of your room, actually. Right this way, then. He ceremoniously presents the stairs, and I gladly let him lead me up to his room. If I had to describe Marcus's bedroom in one word, it would be nerdy. Bookshelves filled with comic books and action figures stand proudly on one side of the room, and in the other, a dresser full of Lego models of things I don't quite recognize are in display. His walls are also filled with posters of various TV shows and comic book characters, and I soak it all in, gawking at every corner. Well, here it is. It sure is. Here. Guess you can't take the nerd out of the jock after all. He chuckles, embarrassed. Would you believe me if I said that I actually put away a bunch of more nerdy stuff before you got here? I wouldn't put it past you. I walk up to his desk and pick up something familiar from when we were kids. It's a small ball-like figure that looks a bit like a dragon when you open it up. Isn't this the same one that you brought to school every day back in, like, 3rd grade? That would be the one, yes. I thought that it was the peak of cool kid toys. Of course you think so. Is that an insult? Maybe. Asshole. Guess some things never change, I smile at him and he softly smiles back at me. Guess not. I place the figure back in its place when the jacket on the chair catches my attention. His signature varsity jacket, lonely and unattended. I run my hands through the worn-out fabric, then turn a glance at him innocently. Sure is a nice jacket you got here. It's, alright, I guess. I bet this is a real high-quality stuff. Would make such a great gift, don't you think? Not really. It kinda has my stink. Plus it's old. Marcus. What? Oh. Do you want it, babe? Could I? If you really want it, sure. Though I don't know why you would. I quickly pull the jacket off the chair and sling it around my shoulders, buttoning up the top button to keep it in place. The unmistakable scent of his earthy, slightly sweaty old perfume smell lingers heavily on the jacket, and I bring the collar up to my nose to give it a good whiff. It smells like Marcus. Like home. What? Don't smell it, you weirdo. It's gross. It's not gross. It smells like you. Yeah, and I know I stink. I thought you said that you showered every day. I do. Mostly. Listen, there are just some stenches that don't come off. Like after workout sweat. What's the point of taking your jacket if it isn't going to smell like you? I'm sure it'll smell like me, just let me wash it first. Absolutely not. Cal. He steps closer with the evil, malicious intent of taking away my jacket. No. I'll give it back. Monster. Take it off. I would rather die. I'll take it from your cold, dead hands. You can just try it, pal. He lurches forward and grabs onto me, trying to undo the jacket button around my neck as I squirm and writhe to escape his grasp. Give it. No! I feel him hesitate for a moment, and then suddenly, without a warning, his hands go down to my chest and he gives them a good hard squeeze. Be a good boy and take it off for me. He growls this into my ear, and I'm so dumbfounded by his boldness that I didn't even notice when he successfully unbuttoned the jacket and snatched it from my body, holding it high above his head. Ha! There. Now shut up and let me wash it. I clutch onto my sweater, staring at him with flushed cheeks and wide eyes. What? You know damn well what? That's cheating. I wouldn't grab your groin just to get the jacket. All's fair in love and war. Besides, I didn't do anything you didn't like. You are a pain in my ass, Marcus. Which ass? Can I see it? So we're just throwing shame out the window then? We might as well. Fine, then maybe I'll just steal something of yours to smell. Like, say, your underwear? You wouldn't. Wouldn't I? I step closer to him and lay my hands flat on his stomach, edging my fingers closer to the hem of his shirt. I wonder what would be less embarrassing, having your boyfriend take a normal-smelling jacket, or having him take your musty underwear right off of your body. I inch my fingers. Okay, fine. Here. He shoves the jacket to me, pressing it onto my chest in embarrassed defeat. Happy? Very. I take it from his hands and he grumbles something incoherent. Do you have a smell fetish or something? No. At least, I don't think so. I'll have to keep that in mind. 4. Stuff. Stuff. The other stuff boyfriends do. My heart starts pounding a little, his eyes shining with a different kind of malicious intent. Oh? Mind showing me what kind of stuff we do? Oh, not at all. Get in bed. He says that with such authority, it sends a shiver down my spine, and without an ounce of protest from me, I do as I'm told, sitting on the edge of his neatly made bed. He makes his way to me and softly pets my head, leering over me with a distant gleam in his eyes. My heart picks up the pace as he leans down, cupping my face in his hands and sniffing me gently, methodically, as if taking everything in for the first time. He pulls away and looks at me, searching my eyes for something. But then his face grows soft and he gives me one single small lick on my lips. Do you think that we're moving too fast? I blink at him, mulling over what he's saying to me, trying to think with my head instead of, well, my other head for a second. Maybe. He hums an acknowledgement. I won't lie to you, Cal. I want to do stuff with you really badly. Stuff? Stuff. Stuff you wouldn't even begin to dream about. My heart skips a beat. But I want to do it right with you. I don't want to just have sex with you. It's more than that, you know? I smile at him, a blush fully forming in my face. Who knew that you were such a romantic? I have my moments. Well, I couldn't agree more. I wrap my arms around him and hug his chest close to me, squishing my face between his pecs. We'll make a nice dinner, dance in the candlelight, put rose petals on the bed. Are you making fun of me? I'm serious. I've always wanted to do that. Well, you know I'd happily throw rose petals on the bed for you. He slides his hands down the back of my upper thigh, and with a grunt, suddenly lifts me up, carrying me slowly against him. Whoa! I'll be sure to make it a night that you remember. He grins, his face inches from mine, a small blush creeping into his face as he stares me in the eye. Those green eyes that I love so much. It's as if they're enchanted, bewitching me more than I already was. I close the distance between us as much as I can without actually kissing him, swallowing nervously as I feel my own face growing hotter and hotter by the second. But We could we could still kiss, couldn't we? You and that fucking pleading look. A low growl reverberates from his throat, and I feel his hips thrust against me slowly, as if it was an involuntary reaction. You don't know what it does to me, Cal. I don't think that you have any idea what you do to me, Marcus. Show me then. He leans in, touching noses with me, and all the shame and reservations leave my body as I pull him in and kiss him. His muzzle presses firmly against mine, giving me little air to breathe as he slides his tongue inside my mouth, moaning a low, raspy growl as he does. I pull him closer to me until there is no more space between us, and he gently lowers me onto the bed, never breaking our kiss. His hands slide up my sweater, taking it off of me and throwing it haphazardly to the floor on the other side of the room. Good. It was getting way too hot anyways. He grips my body against his fingers, feeling every groove and corner, every patch of fur, as if converting it to memory. His thumbs draw circles around my nipples, occasionally pressing and flicking them, like switches that turn me on in such an intense way. Moans escape my lips and break our kiss, and I feel him grinding harder against me with a more primal desire than a calculated act of love. But the hot, wet licks on my neck aren't so primal, instead feeling passionate, sensual, like I'm the only person in the world that he could ever do this with. It makes my chest feel light and full at the same time and instills in me a desire to have him. All of him. I grab onto his jacket and shirt, tugging them both frantically over his head, and he pulls away enough to let me slip them off of him. He's looming over me, his knees on either side of my hips, making his frame look much larger than it is. His chest forms a nice M shape from the angle that I'm looking at him from, and I can't help but laugh right there and then. M. For Marcus. What's so funny? Nothing. I just love your pecs. Yeah? You like big guys? I like a big guy. Is it me? It might be. He grabs me and spins me over, laying on the bed with his back flat against it, and me now sitting on his lap in a particularly popular sexual position. He puts his hands behind his head and grins at me, exposing his entire bare torso. Wanna touch? Oh my god. Go on. I don't bite. Unless you want me to. Tss. Corny. Says Mr. Flower Petals. You weren't against the idea. Are you against me biting you? As I thought. Now get to touching. He closes his eyes and grins stupidly, peeking up at me momentarily, and I decide for my own sanity to focus on his body instead of his face. God knows that I'd be too embarrassed to even hold his hand if I had to look him in the eyes while doing it. I decide to start slow, my hands run up his stomach, feeling the soft curves of the waist and strong edges of his hip bones. I trace the outline of his fur peeking out from his sweatpants and follow it up to his navel, the trail leading down to something that I can clearly see the outline of through his sweatpants. Before impulse takes over and I rip his pants off, I move further up to the place that I'm sure that he wanted to be touched the most. Well, the second most. I cup his chest in my hands, feeling their softness as I squeeze them like stress balls, moving them around in slow, hypnotic circles. Wow. Nice, huh? Can I play with them like bongos? I... Yeah, go for it, I guess. Was that the Mario theme? Maybe. Alright, my turn. He grabs my jeans and pulls me up, in a position that makes my ass stick out, then slides his hands in both of my back pockets, gripping me hard. I'll use these, if that's okay with you. G- Go ahead. He grins, thinking for a moment, then plays a tune on my ass. Hard. Was that the Star Wars theme? Yes! Didn't think you'd get that one. God, you hit hard for a nerd. Call me a nerd again and I'll really hit you hard. Nerd. Ah! Masochist. Sadist. That makes us the perfect match. I guess it does. He smiles at me, his tail wagging softly behind me, and I bury my face in his neck fluff. You know what? What, baby? I think I love you, Marcus. I think I love you too, Cal. I smile at him now, and he pulls me close to him, pressing his muzzle against my forehead. Hey. I was thinking about what you said the other day, about us not being together if you had stayed, or if you never came back. Oh. I'm sorry I said that. What? No, I'm not bothered by it. In fact, you know what I think? What? I think you're wrong. Oh? Yup. I think some way, somehow, you and I would have ended up together in the end. Just like this. You think we're bound by fate, perhaps? Maybe. I place a hand on his cheek, rubbing his fluff, looking at his eyes, feeling his arms around me. You know, you might be onto something. You think? Yeah, I don't think that I'd be able to resist you in any timeline. So my charm goes beyond the multiverses. Well, I don't know about that, but it worked in this one. His hand glides up my... God damn. Are you hungry or is that diarrhea? Marcus, oh my god. I push him away and he falls back laughing, reaching for me again. Way to ruin the moment, you ass. Me? I don't think that it was my stomach. Shut up. That was growling. Shut up. I sit up and face away from him, burying my red face in my hands. Marcus, of course, is loving this, laughing his stupid ass off as he hugs me from behind, holding me onto his lap. Aw, it's Callie hungry. Yes? Want me to make you something? Since when can you cook? Hey, I can make a bomb-ass mac and cheese. Look at your ears, perking up at that. You want mac and cheese, don't ya? Okay, fine. Yes, just stop being weird about it. He gives another hearty laugh and lets me go, getting up and unfortunately putting his shirt back on. Alright, I'll be back soon then. You don't want me to help you? Nah, stay. Sleep or use my computer if you want. Just, don't look at my search history. Are there sexy MILFs in your area? You wouldn't believe how many. He gives me one final wink before he steps out, closing the door behind him, his footsteps echoing as he descends the stairs. For a while, I'm perfectly content just listening to the sounds of his shuffling downstairs, hearing the sound of pots and pans clanging together at his will. But after a bit, I get restless, my mind starting to drift to yesterday. How shitty of me, I think, to do things behind his back after he asked me not to. But then, if I just outright asked him for the truth, would I get it? A part of me wants to trust him, but... Truth is, the truth never comes easy for Marcus. So I had no choice, really. I had to talk to Aster. The events from yesterday passed my mind in an instant, yet in such great detail, it's like I've relived the entire moment second for second. I was at the park near the edge of town, the one where couples sneak out at night to kiss. Or so I've been told, that's what goes on there. Callum, are you sure about this? Adrian, although a little shaken, insisted on tagging along with me. I had used him as part of my excuse anyway, so it's not like I could say no to him. Don't worry, Twink 2. I'm here for a reason. And of course, I had to bring a bodyguard, and the biggest and most trustworthy guy that I could think of was none other than Ronnie himself. Thanks, Ronnie. No problem, as long as I'm getting paid. Yeah, you'll get your photos. What? What kind of arrangement do you two have? Should I tell him? Ugh, no. Callum. It's cosplay club stuff. He wants me to model for him so that he can take pictures for references. That's it. Normal pictures, Adrian. He eyes Ronnie cautiously for a moment, but just nods in acknowledgement. If you say so. Do I look like the sexy picture blackmailing type? I mean... kinda. Seriously? It's the death glare. The quiet guys are always the freakiest. God damn. I don't know. Loud guys are just as freaky sometimes. A sickeningly sweet, familiar voice rings out to our right. Making his way to us with a friendly wave is none other than Aster. The gang's all here. Hi, Callum. Aster. As big as always, huh, Ronnie? And hello, kid that I've never met. I'm like a year younger than you guys. What's up then, Callum? Here to jump me and take all my money? We don't want the $2 in your back pocket, asshole. It's Aster, but I can see how that'd be confusing for a himbo like you. What did you just call me? Alright, enough of this. I brought them because I obviously don't feel comfortable being alone with you. He seems genuinely ashamed of this, albeit with an attitude a bit too carefree for my liking. I am sorry about that, by the way. Sure you are, but whatever. I'm not here for that. Of course you're not. Come on then, let's get a seat somewhere first. We find a picnic table big enough for the four of us to sit on, and although there'd be more space if someone sat next to Aster, none of us do so. Instead, the three of us pack into one single bench, Ronnie to my left and Adrian to my right. Aster makes a big huff about his appearance, brushing himself off and fixing his hair even though he only walked 10 paces. Taking a good look at him, I could see why David was attracted to him. He's very... pretty. That's the only word that really fits Aster. It made me wonder if David ever compared the two of us when he was with him, if he thought Aster was better than me. God, the weather is fucking atrocious. I hate winter. I was not made for cold weather, let me tell you. Alright, since you guys hate small talk so much, I'll just get to the point. You wanted to ask about David, right? Well, I'm officially an open book. Ask anything. I'll answer you as honestly as I can. Whether you like what you hear or choose to believe it or not, I really don't care. But I'll give you the truth. So, ask away, hun. All eyes fall squarely on me now, and I get a bit self-conscious in that moment. Did I really drag all these people here because I had questions? I shake my head. No, it's more than that. Of course it is. For Lupe, for justice. For David. Right. Okay then. First, I kinda wanna know just what you were to David. I know people have said that you guys are exes, but I've also heard not so great things about your relationship with him. So, what was really going on between the two of you? Funny, you started off with a question that I have trouble answering myself. What? Sorry, I'll try to explain this as best as I can. David and I met at a party one night, back in junior year. It was supposed to be like a one-night stand, but after we kept running into each other, we just kept hooking up and eventually started meeting outside of parties. We never really, put a label on it. We were exclusive, but we talked about being with other people, like we were just good friends or something. Honestly, I really liked him. I wanted to be with him, like, for real, but I knew he didn't feel the same way. You don't think David liked you like that? I knew that he didn't like me like that. I'm sure that you know this already, but David had a very, one-track mind. When he sets its sights on something, that was what he wanted, and nothing else. Well, he had already set his sights on someone a long time before meeting me. Uh, I see. I fold a stray leaf that was on the table over and over again until it's almost 3 times smaller, and I let it fall to the ground between my feet. I'm guessing that he talked about me then, I take it? Unfortunately, yes. Sometimes it just felt like you were all he talked about. But then again, I think it's because I would ask him about love and stuff. It was like, in his mind, love equated to you. I hated your guts. I think that I would have hated my guts too. But he never treated you badly, right? No, never. He was always a gentleman with me, as crazy as that is to believe. Prime boyfriend material. But I know that wasn't the same story for everyone else. Why do you think that you got special treatment? Ronnie speaks up, drawing everyone's attention to his steely gaze, unwaveringly fixated on Aster. Why were you any different than the rest of us? I don't know. Maybe because he was me? Or maybe because you were giving him something else that he wanted, something he felt he needed. Oh, I get it. The drugs. Why the hell does everyone assume David got the drugs from me? Marcus accused me of the same shit. David's a big boy. If he wanted drugs, he didn't need his booty call to get them for him. He'd get it himself. Like, sure, we do them together, but that doesn't mean that I give it to him. Ronnie just snorts and looks away, disgusted. Marcus accused you? Now Adrian pipes up, nervously fiddling with his jacket zipper. Did you and him talk often? How does this kid know Marcus? Everyone knows Marcus. Go figure. Anyway, yeah, I knew Marcus pretty well. He would always try to steer David away from me and said that I was a bad influence. Not that he was wrong, but fuck him, you know? I give him a glare and he holds his hands up innocently. Oh, did I hit a nerve? I was wondering how long did it take for him to finally win you over? Tell me, from bottom to bottom. Is he rough? What? He's definitely the choking type, isn't he? How big we talking? 7 inches? 8? Can you shut up? Jeez, don't get your panties in a twist, big guy. I was just curious. But yeah, Marcus, always the overprotective type. Though eventually he kinda just stopped caring. Must have drained him looking after David all the time. I know the feeling. What happened? With David, what happened? He got too cocky. He thought Smoke was his chum, and that he'd never get mad at him for all the money that he owed. It was the beginning of March when shit started to get hairy for him. He was out of cash, out of people to beg for money, out of IOUs. He was in withdrawal and like 10 times moodier than usual. Any weird look or any slight inflection in your tone, and he'd lash out on you. He was unbearable. Or so Marcus told me. David had stopped coming over to my place around that time. He couldn't even afford the dollar for the bus fare. Or rather, he was just saving every penny he had. In any case, I wasn't there when he ran away. It all happened so quickly. Marcus came over to my place the day after David left to see if he was hiding under my bed or something. When I asked him what happened, all he told me was that Smoke had gone after David and that he had to leave. Is that it? Hmm? That's Nothing that I didn't already know, Aster. Well, maybe you're just not asking the right questions, Callum. I reach for my pocket and pull out the paper, now a little wrinkly from being touched so much, and place it on the table. What is this? A flower. Can't you tell? You're not really my type, hun. Flattered, though. David used to make these for me when we were kids. This, I slided closer to him, showed up taped to my window 3 nights ago. That's so. He picks it up with a sort of apathetic expression on his face and examines it a bit. So what? What are you asking me, Callum? He says this like he already knows what I'm asking, but refuses to just outright tell me things if I don't enunciate it as a question first. Is David still here? In Pricefield? Nope. He slides the flower back to me, bored. That's all? Is he somewhere else then? Do you know where he is? Can't say that I do. Can you at least just fucking tell me if he's alive? Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, he is alive, Callum. A strange feeling of relief washes over me, but an equal amount of curiosity replaces it. How do you know that? A month after he left, I got a call from some unknown number, and it was him. He said that he was at a payphone, that he couldn't talk for long, but that he was fine, and that he'd try and call me whenever he could to keep me updated. And since then, he's called me pretty much every week at the same time. What time? Tuesday nights at around 9. The night that I got the flower. So he is here then? Maybe he was, but he's definitely not here anymore. He'd be stupid to stick around and get caught by smoke, if that were the case. That doesn't make much sense. So he calls you every week at the exact same time. He couldn't be able to do that if he was constantly moving between cities, right? Maybe he's just living in one town and then payphone he uses is there? But then, how did I get this flower the same night that he calls you? He's definitely not far. Well, he never actually told me where he was or what he's doing, so I don't know. If he were still in Pricefield, wouldn't you guys have noticed at this point? Well, whatever, that's all I know. You're the detective, aren't you, Callum? Go ahead, figure it out. He clearly wants you to. He gestures to the flower in front of him and stands up, his cheerful persona all but gone by now. Just know this. Whatever you find, whatever mess you get yourself into, it'll be your own fault. Not mine, not his. Yours. Call me if you need anything. I'll always be up for a good time. And then he left, walking away without the usual confident stride of his. All of this replays in my head as I lay on Marcus's bed, the softness of his sheets and the familiar smell of him lulling me to sleep, warping my thoughts in the process. The very real possibility of David still being somewhere in town looms over me, though, and although I'm tired and comfortable, I'm also extremely restless. And hungry. I wonder, just how much does Marcus know about all of this? Maybe I should really try and trust him more, or at the very least trust him enough to talk to him about this kind of stuff. His bed is really comfortable, though. Hey. Something slimy touches my lips and I open my eyes to see a spoonful of macaroni poking my mouth. What? Eat up. I sit up and scooch away, wiping my mouth of the cheese. Ugh, Marcus, come on. What? I thought you were hungry. Well, wake me up before you feed it to me. He laughs and sits beside me on the bed, the bowl of macaroni on his hand. Can I spoon feed it to you? What? Why? Please. 1 spoon. Yes. He excitedly offers a spoon to me, grinning sadistically. Come on, baby. Eat up. Does macaroni make you horny? This is just something that I've always wanted to do. So weird. You use my pecs like bongos. That's totally normal. Okay, fine, you win. I open my mouth and let him shove the spoonful into it, his tail wagging happily behind him. It's kinda hot, but it is pretty good, and I nod to him approvingly. Congrats, you'll make a good wife someday. Har har, I guarantee that you'll be the one wearing the apron. We'll see. He hands me the bowl and lays down, sighing as he puts his hands behind his head. Did you sleep at all? Kinda. I eat another spoonful, chewing slowly. Your bed's pretty comfy. Thanks. You could sleep here whenever. He winks at me and I smile, looking away. Thanks, by the way, for the food. Anytime, Cal. He puts a hand on my thigh and rubs it affectionately, his other arm covering his eyes. I take his right hand in my left and squeeze it. He squeezes back, rubbing his thumb across my knuckles. Marcus, I need to trust him. If I can't trust a guy who loves me like this, then what kind of partner would I be to him? No, I have to be someone deserving of his love. Um, hey Marcus? Hmm? Could I ask you some stuff? About David? He sits up slowly, scratching his head and looking at me weirdly. Yeah? Yeah, of course. What's up? I pick at the food, thinking over what I wanted to ask specifically. Hey, it's fine, man. Just ask anything. Alright. Did he ever tell you where he might go when he ran away? No, he didn't. Not something that we would really talk about. I see. I take another bite and look at the ceiling, gulping loudly. What would you guys talk about? Well, sports, I guess? Shows? Pokemon, even? I don't know, normal stuff. Makes sense. You must miss him a lot, huh? I look at him, wondering if he's mad again. But no, there is no malice in his tone or expression. Seems like he's genuinely asking. Yeah, I guess I do. Though, I don't know, I guess I'm kinda used to it. I haven't seen him in years. Not seeing him for a little more hasn't felt too different. Yeah, I get that. Do you? Do I what? Miss him? Yes. And no. It's complicated. How so? David was just, a lot. You know, he and I were really close. Like I told you before, I really do consider David to be kind of like my brother. And yeah, of course, I care about him. But... well, Cal, you weren't there when he was at his worst. No one could handle him like that, especially not me. It got to a point where I either wanted him clean, or didn't want to be around him at all. So yeah, I hope he's doing better. But if he isn't, then I don't think that I want to see him again. That sounds super shitty, doesn't it? God, I didn't mean it like that. It's okay. I mean, I get it, of course. It's kind of like that with me and my mom. Oh, yeah, I guess it would be like that. How are you doing with that, by the way? Fine. I don't really miss her. Mostly. It it's not really something that I want to talk about. Yeah, I mean, I get that, but you can talk to me about these things, right? I have a hard time looking directly at him, those green eyes piercing me like a knife. I know. I'm sure you can't wait to hear me bitch about my asshole mother. I mean, that's how I know that we're really close, right? If that's how you want to measure it. What about you? I'm sure you miss your mom a lot. Yeah. I guess I do. But like you said, after missing someone for so long, you just kinda get used to it. I finished the macaroni with one last bite, nodding to him. Yeah, I remember she used to make us popsicles in the summer. She was a notorious smoothie freak. I think she just wanted an excuse to make more than necessary. Well, I sure liked it. I kinda wanna properly meet her one day. I'd like that. Oh, that reminds me. Be careful around my dad. If he sees you, he will try to interview you about me. Am I in trouble? Yes. God damn it. He takes the bowl from my hand and stands up, sighing. Remind me to never talk to your dad again. Come on, he's not so bad. Yeah, well, I don't want to hear his lectures. I'm like 90% sure that he's the type to sit me down and ask me if I'm using a condom. Yeah, okay, maybe. Wait, why would he assume that you're the one wearing the condom? Cal, be real. You think that I couldn't top you? Cal. Come on, babe. Seriously, like, jokes aside and all. Really? I could, if I wanted to. Maybe. It's cute that you think so, at least. Asshole. Our time together flies by quickly after that. He shows me games he likes, we listen to music together, make out some more, and I enjoy every second that I have with him. Up in his room, where no one else knows where we are and what we're doing, I could have really stayed there forever. I could have forgotten everything and everyone and just stayed in his embrace, in his bed that smells so much of him without a care in the world. But I know that I couldn't. I can't forget everything that I need to do. Even if that's exactly what he asked of me. The gleam of the sun hits my eyes as I impatiently wait for him to get closer, his snail-like pace driving me nuts. You could walk slower, you know. In all his audacity, he actually does start walking slower, and I put my hands on my hips, glaring at him. Get your ass over here, or I swear to God. Ugh, quit yelling. It's way too early for this, man. You don't honestly expect me to be in peak performance, do you? Troy, it's like 10 minutes until midday. Yeah, on a Sunday. I should be sleeping right now. Don't you get tired of sleeping at some point? Sure, but then I just sleep some more. Right. Anyway, come on, let's go in. Hold on. Aren't you forgetting something? No? He crosses his arms and gives me a sour look. A real one, clearly upset. How about an apology? What did I do? You went to talk with Aster without me after you explicitly told me that we'd go together. Shit. Yeah. Shit. Alright, I'm sorry, Troy. You're like the investigation unit, not the interview unit. So I've been demoted from partner to backup? No, come on, that's not what I meant. Listen. Listening. I just don't want you to get too involved in all of this. It feels like it's getting more and more serious as I go along, and, well, I've dragged you far enough into this, haven't I? He sighs. Poor, stupid Callum. Excuse me? You do realize that you're pulling a Marcus right now, right? What? No, this is totally different. I'm telling you everything. I just don't want you to get directly involved. So you know what's best for me. That's not. Yeah, whatever. My point is, if I feel that we're in too deep, I'll let you know. For now, I don't need you acting like I can't handle it. So stop acting gay for 5 seconds and just let me do this with you. Yeah. Okay, I'll try and lean on you more. Also, don't use gay like that. You'd, get cancelled or something. Clearly, you've never been in the Xbox live chat rooms. And thank God for that. He chuckles and grabs onto my arm, like a kid clinging onto their parent, and nods to the building in front of us. So, the library. What did you want to come see again? Anything that validates Aster's claims of David still being here. I want to make sure that he actually left the area in the first place. Because apparently, from the clips of the news reports that I've seen, no one saw him leave Pricefield at all. Oh, sad words. I like it. We should check the newspaper records then. They had to have mentioned something about that, right? Just what I was thinking too. Any sightings of him in town after his disappearance would be enough for me. Then let's get going. I want to get out of here before lunch. And of course, you're buying. Ugh. And with a little spring in his step, Troy and I walked towards the library doors and into the small, cozy building. The library was a special place for Troy and me. We were the only ones in the group who actually liked reading, so we'd come here often and pick out books together. Some summer days, we'd be here all mornings and afternoon, back when we had nothing to worry about except what our heroes and protagonists had to face. David would always get a little mad when I came here. He hated books. Oh, great. There's Miss McNeil. Ugh. Miss McNeil, the library lady. She hated us big time because we would always want to talk about the books that we were reading, and she thought that we were too loud and disruptive. Figures that she'd still be working here, unlike she could do anything other than terrorizing children for fun. Imagine getting paid beefing with little kids. Insane. So, who's gonna talk to her? Not me. This is your shit, dude. I'm not gonna ask her. Fine. Rock, paper, scissors then. Fine. We both hold up our fists, staring at each other intensely. Rock, paper, scissors. Shoot. Mm, rock. Rock. Scissors. Shit. Hee hee hee. I bonk his hand with my fist, and he puts his hands in his pockets, grumbling. Unfair. More like unlucky. Whatever. He begrudgingly trudges towards Miss McNeil, who by now has already heard us because of Troy's shout, and gives him a bored, annoyed look. Hey, Miss McNeil. Been a while. Anyway, you remember Callum, right? He jabs his thumb towards my general direction, and she shoots me that same unamused look as I politely wave at her. Right, so he was wondering where we could find the newspaper records. Those are on all the computers now, Maddox. Sign in with your library card ID. Ah, the golden age of technology, eh? Thanks, McMeal. Don't call. Okay, sorry. He turns to look at me and nods towards where the computers are with an exasperated expression, and it takes a lot of willpower to not burst out laughing. We quickly find a free computer stall in the pretty empty library, and Troy takes the seat and takes his card out of his wallet. So, Miss McMeal? I panicked, okay? Okay, pal. He shoots me a dirty look, and after typing in some numbers, the computer screen lights up and shows us the desktop. Alright, newspaper records. Newspaper records. God, these things are fucking ancient. Is this Windows Vista? Is that bad? Is that bad? Just shut up and look for it. After searching around for a bit, we come across the folder that holds the newspaper records, and I shoo Troy out of the seat. Alright, the date. March 13th, right? I think so, yeah. Ugh, they don't have a search function? Ew. I'm gonna have to scroll. Then get scrolling, Callie. I stick my tongue out at him and start scrolling aimlessly, trying to get 8 months ago as fast as possible. After about 5 minutes, though, I finally find the paper of that day. Oh, here it is. Troy, who had been reading a comic book he picked up, sets it aside and leans in to get a closer look at the computer. Local boy disappears after run-in with drug dealer. Wait, so the cops knew about Smoke? Everyone knows about Smoke, but they don't really give a shit. Wait, how do you know his name's Smoke? Aster told me. Bleh, of course he would. What does the paper say? I read out loud the article to him in a low, dejected voice as I see the way that they write about David. Local 18-year-old boy David Ramirez was last seen in 9th Street, where the young man lived with his family. Witnesses say that he was last seen with his drug dealer, who quickly fled the scene after the young man ran off. According to the residents' neighbors' accounts, the teen drove off on his motorbike he was well known to have and headed north towards the state border. He had a motorbike? Yeah, it was always out of gas. Guess he got lucky that day. The rest of the article just has a bunch of theories and interviews with the neighbors. Listen to this, says an anonymous witness, claims it was a Hispanic family's ruining the image of the good neighborhood. Jesus, I bet that was the old fart who lives next door to them. Miss Brown. Fucking racist bitch. I scroll through the newspapers of the next few days, weeks, months, but nothing else concerning David's disappearance pops up anymore. Hearing my silence, Troy rests his head on top of mine, looking at the screen. Dead end? Yeah. Like they completely dropped everything after that. Did they even try to arrest Smoke? From what I've heard, Smoke doesn't even get pulled over for speeding in this town. So what? He bought the cops? Pretty much, yes. I cross my arms, bouncing my leg incessantly. That doesn't sound good at all. I exit out of the newspaper records and open up the internet search engine and start typing quickly. What you looking up? The article said that David was heading north, right? That means that he couldn't have been far from Pennsylvania. If he crossed the border, shouldn't there have been records of it? Some sort of sighting, anything at all? Well, maybe. But it wouldn't be too far-fetched to think that no one saw him. After searching through the articles with no luck, I stumble upon one that makes my first stand up, and I turn to look at Troy in disbelief. Oh. They found his bike in the state border. That is his bike, right? The plate number, it's his, yeah. You don't think that something happened to him, right? Aster said that he talked to him on Tuesday, though, and I run my hand through the outside of my right pocket, where the flower he gave me is tucked tightly inside. I had my doubts at first, but after talking to Aster, I don't think that there is any other explanation. David gave this to me as a sign, as a message, that he's still here. And what? They found his bike just before it reached Pennsylvania. That means that he didn't actually leave the state, right? So, you think that he's still here? I mean, where else would he be? Smoke was the last person who saw him, and I'm positive that he has some sort of knowledge to where David is. If I can just talk to him... Whoa, Cal, come on. Think about this for a sec. You're gonna try and talk to a literal drug dealer to try and find David. Are you nuts? I silently stare at his incredulous face for a moment and the gravity of the situation weighing down on me. And then I frown. David is out there, probably not so far away, and you want me to just ignore it? Look the other way? I'm not gonna do that. Clearly that's what everyone's done at this point. Hurt flashes across his face and I see him swallow his anger as he stares right back at me. I don't think that you know what you're talking about. Really? Because it sounds to me like you don't even want to find him. You you do want to, right? Can we talk about this somewhere private? His voice is barely over a whisper, a sort of melancholy etched into his words. I nod. The library's bathroom is abnormally cold, the smell of bleach a bit too poignant for my liking. I lean on the tiled wall at the end of the room, and Troy wipes his hands on his pants, his breathing a bit erratic. He tries cracking his knuckles, but stops midway and just tucks them into his pockets instead. I quietly notice that his hands haven't stopped shaking since we got here. Callum? Yeah? I I don't know how to say this in a way that won't make you upset, so I'm just gonna have to live with that. David and I weren't friends. I don't think that we were ever friends, if I'm honest. What? He never liked me, Callum. I'm pretty sure that he put up with me because I was your friend. I blink at him. No, that's not. What? I know he means a lot to you. I know that you care about him and that you want to find him, but I care about you. And I needed you to know that. Well, David isn't the nice guy that you think he is. I I just don't get it. He never said anything. I mean, why do you think that he didn't like you? He sighs, fidgeting as he avoids looking at me directly. After you left, he pretty much avoided talking to me in general. He would hang out with Marcus all the time, but even Marcus made an effort to include me in the shit that they did sometimes. David barely acknowledged my existence. In fact, when he did, it was like to make fun of me and shit. The worst shit that he did to me was... He chuckles dryly and shakes his head, as if the memory itself makes him angry. What did he do? He would just be an asshole to me, looking down on me, making me feel like I wasn't good as him. He even... Even what? He tried to get me laid, even after I told him that I'm ace. Oh. Oh. Oh my god. The joke's about you and Sophie. I'm so sorry. I didn't know. Oh, no. It's fine, dude. I'm Ace, not Arrow, so, I do like Sophie, just... I wouldn't, have sex with her, you know? Oh, right. So, yeah. I was never gonna tell him about that. But since he kept trying to hook me up with people to make me less of a wimp, I eventually just told him so that he'd stop. But he didn't. And it's not that he didn't believe me, it's that he thought that if I just tried it, that somehow I'd just, get fixed or something. He shrugged it off and rolled his eyes, like it was some unfunny joke David pulled on him. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that I don't really like David. Of course I want him to be okay, but, I'm not gonna actively look for him. I'll help you with your search if you want, but I want you to know that I'm not in good terms with him. At all. Why didn't you say something sooner? Were the drugs and bad stories not enough to keep you away from him? It's not that. I just never thought that he'd be so insensitive. I mean, he's like Pan for fuck's sake, right? How would he of all people love? David's not Pan, I don't think. He's like unlabeled. But I think it's because he doesn't like being seen as queer or something. I don't know. He was weird like that. I stare at the tiled floor below us, frowning at it as if David himself is below and I'm scolding him. I didn't know that he was so bigoted. He was always the type to include everyone in everything he did, regardless of who they were. That was because he was nice, right? Thank you for telling me, and I'm sorry on his behalf. You don't gotta apologize, and of course I tell you, you're my best friend. You're mine too. Right, so fuck Marcus, huh? He's different. He's my boyfriend now, which means that you're officially promoted to being my best friend. Wow, I'm so honored. I chuckle, and after a moment, I step in and embrace him, squeezing him tightly against me. I love you, Troy. I'm sorry that he hurt you. I love you too, Cal. It's okay. He pulls away, grinning at me. It'll take more than David's stupid antics to get me down. I smile back at him, nodding. If only his eyes weren't so glossy, I might have just believed him. With a sigh, I sit on the edge of my bed, thinking of everything that I heard and saw today. I rub my eyes, pulling my entire brain power into that motion instead of thinking. Reaching for my pocket, I pull out the flower and lay down, twirling and twisting it with my finger, looking at its folds and creases and how they carefully form the shape of a tulip. Oh, David, where did you go? And who did you turn into when I was gone? And that's where I'm going to leave it for today. So, it seems that certain things about David are unraveling now. Certain things that Callum obviously didn't know, and perhaps Lupe herself didn't know about. And this kind of goes back to the whole thing of like communication and like people just not telling you these things, talking about these things, which I mean, in some cases are private, like the whole thing about him being Ace and then David just being sort of kind of mean to other people that are not apparently Callum. So it kind of leads you to wonder how he was with other people, though, like specifically, literally other people, because it kind of seems like everyone is okay with David being gone, with the exception of Callum and Lupe, and probably David's family. But like everyone is like, I mean, he's gone. We don't really like, yeah, sure, hope he's okay, but like things are a little bit better without him. But yeah, there still doesn't seem to be the full picture yet, but we are getting more pieces of it. Seeing that David, of course, was falling into substance abuse and then he may have ran away because he owed money to his dealer and all these other things. I mean, that seems to be like the most logical thing, right? I mean, if it looks like a horse, it sounds like a horse, it has hooves like a horse, then it probably is a horse. Don't think it's a zebra. I think that's supposed to be something medical related where don't look for zebras when it's like right in front of you. But yeah. Or is it don't look for stripes? I don't know, it's something having to do with zebras and medicine. Anywho, interesting to see that we have another Ace character. First it was, well, actually, was it this or Remember the Flowers first? It was, it was around the same time. Let's just put it that way. So we have two Ace characters. We have Callum's friend, whose name is already escaping me. I want to say Chase. And we have, of course, Cyrus. I'm pretty sure there's other Ace characters that I'm forgetting. Anyways, but yeah, so this still feels like one of those stories where it's like, Callum, all the answers are right in front of you, but you keep ignoring them because you want to think of something else. But like slowly, the real image of David is slowly coming into into light, I guess, for Callum, because everybody already knows this sort of mean-spirited, kind of bigoted, kind of an asshole, druggy David. Well, Callum was like, well, I didn't know that. Why don't you people tell me? Like, maybe all these things happen for a reason. It's like, no, he kind of just sort of leaned into it himself. That makes me wonder, though, if he is still around, is the David that Callum's gonna eventually find, if he is still around, going to be the same David that that Callum remembered, or is he gonna be a completely different person? So, we'll find out eventually. There's like, what was, like 12 chapters or something? I forget. So this is number 8. So we're very, very close to the end. Actually, yeah, there's 12 chapters because I stopped at 6 and then I read 7. This is 8. So we just need 9, 10, 11, 12. We need 4 more. But yeah. Anywho, so yeah, write down in the comments what you think, and thank you all for watching / listening. If you would like to play When I Knew You and figure out what's going on before everyone else, as I'm recording, editing, uploading, then scheduling, you can do so by going down into the link in the description, which should have a direct link for the itch.io page where you can download the game and play it yourself, or you can just go to itch.io.com and, look for the game yourself there. They do have a Patreon, and as of recording this, which is December 21st, they still have not updated the other visual novel, the one that started me recording all of this yet. So if you want to get early access to builds of that one, which would be the last build of... I forgot the name of it already. Or how it feels. Then you can do so by subscribing to the Patreon and then, rating the update there. Which should hopefully release either at the end of December or in January. Hopefully. Because that is the last build, and we have to find out what's going to happen with Russo and Baxter. But yeah. Anywho, so yeah, also all my links down in the description in case you want to become a channel member and you're watching this in like January and going like, oh, I sure wish I got caught up on this back when he recorded. Then, go become a channel member. You'll see all the videos. There's usually at least like 2 weeks in advance, and it supports me and the channel. Like and subscribe. And also my Throne, in case you want to buy me a book. I have stuff on there. It doesn't also have to be the book. You could literally buy me whatever. Not that you have to. And I also have a Ko-fi in case you want to donate through there. But yeah. Anyways, so I guess that's it for now, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.